Hello everyone. Today we will see what is the difference between Podman and Docker. Both Podman and Docker are open source tools. Both are used to create packages inside container. So it is a container tools. Okay, that helps to create containers, that helps to build the containers, pull the images, and all those things. So containers, as we know, allow us to package up the application with all its dependencies and ship it as one package. So Podman and Docker both are similar. Both are used for the similar purpose, but there are some differences, and that help us to create container with a different architecture. So let's see what are the differences, how those things work. So Docker, as we know, like it is a very common tool. We are using this tool to create containers. So it is a very common in the market, and it is the first tool which helps developers and DevOps team and infrastructure team to create containers. Okay, so and apart from that, like this particular tool, Docker, work on client server architecture. So if we see here, we have our Docker CLI. Okay, so from Docker CLI, we it as a work as a client, and from Docker CLI, we send a request to Docker daemon. And then Docker daemon do all the operations behalf of us. Okay, so operations like pull the images from container, creates the images, okay, or create the volumes, networks, and all operation whatever is there related to Docker, whatever command we send Docker command from Docker CLI to Docker daemon. So Docker daemon is the process which do all these operations. So this is like a central process which is doing all the operations. So this Docker daemon require a root privilege to do all this operation, and this is like a single point of failure. So if this Docker daemon is down, then all our Docker infrastructure will be down. Okay, so this is how this Docker work based on client server architecture. This is Docker daemon which do all the operations. So now let's see about Podman. So Podman is a new tool in the market. Okay, it also do the same operations which Docker do, like pulling the images, create the volumes, mount the volumes. Okay, create the images, build the images. All those operations Podman also do. But this work on different type of architecture. This not work on client server architecture, or there is a daemon. In Podman there is no daemon. Okay, unlike Docker. This element eliminates the potential security risk and the single point of failure associated with a daemon-based service. Okay, so this Podman doesn't require root privileges. Okay, so that is a very good thing from security perspective. Okay, so Podman, this particular service run without root privileges, and also there is no daemon. So whenever we send a request to the Podman, it use creates a new service and do the operations. Okay, it clone itself, do the operations in that particular process, and then returns. Okay, so we can use it for images, container creations, pull images from containers, all the operations it do. Basically there is a no demand and there is no root privileges is required for this Podman. Okay, so if we see the Podman commands, so these are the different commands. Look, Podman run, Podman ps, logs. If you see, like all these commands are similar to Docker. Okay, so there is no difference. This is similar. All these commands are similar to what we are used to in Docker. Okay, so if we are aware about Docker commands, we can easily use the Podman to do the same operations, like to run a Docker by pulling an image. We can use the Podman run to see all the running containers. We can use Podman ps to check the log of a particular container. We can use Podman logs to stop container, and all other Docker commands that we are used to. The same commands we can use with Podman also. So key differences, as we have discussed earlier. So architecture is the one difference. Like Docker use a client daemon architecture. Podman doesn't require client daemon architecture. It is a daemon-less architecture. Okay, which is good. Security wise, like Podman run container as a current user, minimizing the risk of privilege escalation. As we know, like in Docker, Docker never run as a root uh, user. Okay, so there is a risk of like a privilege escalation. So those things are not there in Podman. The compatibility, Podman can often be used as a drop-in replacement for Docker. It even supports Docker CLI commands, allowing you to alias Docker to Podman. So what this is like, we can use all the commands that we are used to in our Docker. Okay, while using Docker, whatever commands we are running, we can use the same commands with Podman. Just we have to replace the Docker with Podman. That particular word we have to replace. Or what we can do, like we can create allies if we are used to of Docker and we want to continue using the Docker command. Okay, so Docker keyword. So we can create allies, okay, in Docker to Podman. Okay, in our CLI or in our shell or bash. Okay, so that like instead of using Podman run, we can use Docker run, Docker pull. Internally, it will use the Podman itself. Okay, it is a rootless containers. Okay, Podman make it easier to run container without root permission. A big security focused for a big win for security focused users. Okay, so more and more enterprises organizations are now using Podman due to this particular security advantage of Podman. So instead of running a process as a root user, we can run our process without root, and we can do all the operations that we are used to with using Docker. So this is a very good advantage compared to Docker. So again, like in tabular form, we can see the differences: architecture, client, daemon, client server with the daemon in Docker case. It is a daemon-less run container directly. Okay, so this is like a difference architecture-wise. Rootless mode, Docker require root permissions, potential security risk. Okay, in case of Podman, there is no uh, root user. We can use a regular user, and it is more secure. Security wise, root access daemon, single point of failure if compromised. So security, like it is first of all, the daemon, it is a single point of failure. If it is failed, then we can't do any other operation, and it requires root access. There is no central daemon to reduce system wide impact. Okay, so this is the advantage of Podman as of use. So more community supports are there for Docker because it is old technology. For many years, we were developers, infrastructure, or everyone is using it. So everyone is familiar. Most of the people are familiar with the Docker. If we have any issue or we are facing any trouble while running our containers or doing some container operations, we can find easily like um, uh, community support, or we can find easily the solution on Stack Overflow or any other sites. Okay, so it's easier for beginner. So in case of Podman, since it is a new technology, there might be some issues that we are facing, and there is no solution easily like available. So we need to search more and more in depth in Google to find the exact answer. So this might be a one challenge for developers. Okay. Apart from that, like performance, it is a reliable, some overhead from and demand. So it is a reliable, it is a old technology for many years. Everyone is used to of it. So okay. But overhead is the daemon. So daemon service is running. It is based on client server architecture. Okay. In case of Podman, like it is giving a better performance. There is no daemon overhead. Okay, so security wise, performance wise, Podman is better. Okay, more and more organization which focus more on security are using Podman. They are not allowing to install Docker on the VDIs or organization laptops. Okay, so this is one thing. Podman is becoming more and more enterprise friendly. People are using enterprise is focusing or pushing developers to use Podman instead of Docker. Docker is good. Docker is like old technology, and it is in market for many years. But there was some disadvantage, and to resolve those disadvantages, new tools always come in the market, and Podman is one example of that. So similarities. Okay. So despite this difference, Podman and Docker both are similar. Both have the same commands. We can use like pull. uh, pull the images, use the images from the Docker Hub, okay, pull, push, okay, all the operations that we can do in Docker, same operation we can do in Podman also. Okay, so we can use for build containers, okay, from Docker file, run container isolated from each other, so we can run multiple containers without impacting each other. So that is also possible. Use standard container registries for storing image, so we can push our whatever images we have created using Podman or Docker, either in Docker Hub or our private registry. Okay, like ACR or ECR or GCR. Okay, all this cloud-based registries also we can do. So now the final slide, like which one we should use. So that might be like one question that is coming, since both technology are using for the same purpose. But if you have listened carefully, you might have got the idea, like if we want to focus more on security, and then Podman is the excellent tool, okay, because it is not running daemon, okay, and also it is not running process at the using root users, okay. So to want to avoid running a daemon or require running container as a non-root user. So this is excellent tool. More and more organizations which are focusing more on security side, therefore they are using Podman. Okay, they are not allowing to install or use Docker, because both are using the same thing and it is giving additional benefits. So why not use Podman? And then for Docker use case, like Docker is a very widely adopted platform. For many years it is in market, and every developer is aware about it if they are using containers. So this is excellent tool. Lot of documents are available, solutions are available for many problems if we are facing while creating our creating our containers from our Docker file. So these are the use case. Okay, but at the end, like we are using the same command, there is no difference. If we are aware about Docker commands, we can easily use Podman also.